Hey guys, welcome back. It's me again. Obviously, I apologize for last week that I wasn't able to make my Bleach review, but I'll get into that after this review, and I'll give a full detail as to why I wasn't able to do it. I'm just happy to be back, doing another video and stuff like that for Bleach, obviously, you know. But yeah, let's get right into this. This is Bleach chapter number 540 entitled "The Thin Ice." Now, it basically starts off where you see Soul Society basically been switched over, and you start seeing like the Vanderreich, or the Wanderreich, whatever it's now I think Wanderreich. You see, their sculptures and all that as Soul Society being switched out basically, and you see Almeida, just standing there, looking around, wondering, what's happening in the Soul Society, and it's just being transferred over somewhere, and Star Knight's location is appearing right in front of them. And they basically, all the Soul Reapers are in an uproar. They're wondering where their barracks are and whatnot. Might have just sitting there, oh, y'all scared and whatnot. He don't know what he's doing. He's terrified. This whole situation is occurring in front of his very own eyes, basically. And sorry. And while all this was happening, basically, at this moment, his sister basically, comes up to his side and wondering, what's going on, what's all happening, and he had to explain the detail, what's going on, whatnot, and how she feels so concerned about Almeida and whatnot, and that she didn't want him to go out there, fight, being a Soul Reaper, all that, and he, explained to her saying, the only reason I have to leave for now is so that I can protect you, the family, our neighbors and whatnot, and protect Soul Society. He's a Soul Reaper. It's his duty to protect everybody, obviously. And he was telling her, don't be afraid, whatnot. I'm just doing this to protect all of us, basically. As all that happens, basically, and while he was talking to her about that, out of nowhere, you just see this object just hit the ground. You see like dust arising, and as soon as Almeida turned his head, as the smoke cleared, it was honestly I think his name is Sternritter KBG9. I think that's his name. And while Almeida was staring at his face, he said, "Wait a minute, you're the one responsible for stealing my captain's Bankai." And it basically switched over to the situation of last week's chapter, where it picks up where Basby was taking out Captain Hitsugaya. And that's when, at a moment when it's looking at each other, Basby was like, "Wait a minute." Then it caught on to him. He said, "Wait a minute, now I remember you. You were the one that had fought Kaindu, and he's the one that stole your Bankai." And of course, Toshio like, "Whatever, motherfucker. Whatever. I don't really care what you're saying." And that's when those two, they introduced each other. Toshio being the captain of Squad 10. Basby saying that he's Sternritter H, the he's. We finally get to know it. Basby basically. And while all this was going on, talking about him, having his Bankai being stolen by him, whatever. And he's saying that, since he has fire and Toshido has ice, he said, "Does it seem like a perfect match indeed? Does it seem like a perfect pair of fire and ice?" And of course, Toshido agreed. He said, he said, "Indeed." And then those two began to clash. And while this happened, you see like this ice, you see like all the debris and whatnot just like flying into the air as those two clash and fight in the air. And at the same time, Rangiku was trying to protect the other Soul Reapers that Toshido had protected with the ice wall. And she was telling them, go somewhere else and protect other people, obviously, go on. We don't, this fight is going to be between me and the captain going against him, so y'all guys need to move on somewhere. And, they agreed, obviously. And one of the Soul Reapers were concerned about the fact that the captain's ice was very thin. And he was wondering if, they had concerns about the captain, obviously. He said, is he okay? Is he capable of fighting in these conditions of his Bankai being taken away? And so while all this was happening, Basby, he was all like, your ice, whatnot, so thin that I can be able to just, melt right through it, just like whatever. His ice is so thin, you just keep melting right through it. And at the same time while this happening, Toshio thinking back to some stuff like, yeah, wait, keep talking, just wait a little more longer. And then that's when, Rangiku, came up and came to his aid, talking about, I already took care of the Soul Reapers down there. I made them, I made it to where they, they leave and go somewhere else safe. And that's when Toshio, thanked Rangiku for that and whatnot. And of course, Rangiku got, had a little crack or whatnot at her captain, talking about, it's so cute that you're able to rely on me for situations like this. And of course, how Toshio is, Matsumoto, getting angry and jump. And she all, she all like, yeah, whatever. He say, and then that's when they began to initiate their plan. And it's so funny, when the strategy was about to be initiated, she called it, I think, strategy Mila Fule or whatever it's called, and then Torture told me we didn't agree to that. I don't remember agreeing to that. All right, I didn't even hear that. But anyways, while that was happening, that's when she released her Hanako and then went outward. I think Toshiro, he had released the ice earlier, and then that's when she set down her Hanako, the blade shards, and it coated the ice basically. And that's when Basby warned. He said, "Wait a minute, there's nothing different about that. Basically, it's like the same sheet of ice or block of ice like before." And once he went to release his fire at the ice, basically, it really didn't do much. It just like melted, the outside of it. And he said, wait a minute, it didn't have any effect. And, it melted a little bit, but it didn't do true damage. And that's when Toshio explained the reason as to why it didn't melt, because the whole Rangiku, I think her shard of blade, Hanako, the blade is like on the inside of the ice, and his ice had frozen over it. And basically, once she put Hanako back in her blade form and basically created multi-layer of empty spaces within the ice, like a vacuum multi-layer space, something like that. And once he went to explain that part, let's see what else happened. He was going into full detail about how his Bankai, how his Zanbakuto Hyorimaru is the only one in Soul Society that the power is basically different between the Shikai and the Bankai basically. And he went into detail about since he don't have Bankai, he within the quantity amount of ice that he has within his Shikai, it wasn't going to do much against the Star Knights actually, or in this case against Basby or anyone else. Sorry, but he said he had to rely on, of course, Rangiku's help, obviously, to fight against Basby, and he figured that with the amount of ice that he has, that this would be sufficient. And so Basby, he got pissed off at this fact, and he tried to throw some more fire at his ice wall. And Toshio told him, he said, "It's not gonna work. I've already told you this. You can throw as much fire you want at me. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna penetrate the vacuum the vacuum multi-layer ice wall basically." And so while this was happening, Toshido pointed his sword directly at Basby, and Basby looking dead at him like that. He said, "Now." So I think Toshio said, "Now I think it's time for me to slash you down with this vacuum layer, this sword ice vacuum layer." And you see Basby just get penetrated by this this thin shard blade of ice, and just see him getting all messed up. And basically that's where the chapter ended. So okay, let's get into this discussion. Overall, pretty good chapter. I like it. A little dialogue, whatnot. Toshido, talking to Basby. It's going back and forth. It's kind of like the situation of when Ichigo fought against Grimjaw. They just fighting against battling, whatever. Just like two bad guy and a good guy, fighting whatnot. Pretty good, explanation as to how his ice wasn't able to melt so fast when Basby released the fire. Good detail. Kudos on Kubo for that. I like that. I don't know why I did that, but. All in good detail. I like the chapter and whatnot. Some people thought it was short, but overall, to me it was pretty good. But anyways, I also like to point out one thing. One of my friends, on YouTube, obviously, the Elite Age, y'all guys know him, obviously. He talking about in this chapter, he really wanted, in the future as the chapters come out, he wanted, Omaida to die in this chapter. You already know I agree with him, obviously, because he's a fat bastard and no one cares about him. So moving on. Yeah, I really wish he would die in this chapter, because until he proves himself, I really think he probably just gonna die. I mean, a lot of people gonna be happy about that anyway, so whatever. I'm just glad BG9, yeah, he came there. This whole, it's gonna go into detail about that, future chapters ahead. So yeah, it was, I really, hopefully he does die, obviously. But anyways, moving on. Anyways, like I said, good chapter and whatnot. But before I go, I like to explain the reason why I wasn't able to make my video last week. I was going to do it, but the thing about it is I was not aware of the fact that Bleach had came out, was it Wednesday, I think, of last week, or Tuesday, Wednesday. I wasn't aware because I didn't really get the official date when it was coming back, so I assumed that was another day ahead, but it actually came out early. So when everybody did the reviews on YouTube, and mine was going to be like a day late or two, I felt like it wasn't really worth it, because to me it was like the equivalent of a party of, like, everybody knew of this event and they go to a party and when the party was over, I came late, and it'd be pretty pointless for me to make a review over it anyway. So basically, that's my explanation as to why I didn't make the video last week. I really wanted to, commemorate it coming back, congratulate that Bleach to come back for this final volume. But I missed out. I was a little hurt. I'm like, oh man, I missed out. But it don't really matter. As long as I keep making, future chapter videos, it's all good, obviously. So yeah, that's the reason why I wasn't able to make the video. And obviously, I'm gonna stay on making these videos anyway. So don't even worry about it. There may not be a day when I'm gonna miss not making a Bleach review. And if I do, I'll do it for the next day, and so forth, like I did before my other videos. But yeah, pretty much that's just the full detail of what happened last week. So now you know. And pretty much that's all I pretty much got to say for now. Like I said, great chapter. But you can see Ron. Oh, and before I go, I did like well, no, never mind. I ain't gonna talk about it. It's old news. Never mind. It was referring back to the last chapter, but never really matter. But anyways, yeah. That's hopefully I didn't miss out any details. If I did, leave them down in the comments section down below. Whatnot. Give me your views, your ideas about this week's chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Obviously, I always enjoy Kubo's chapters as they get released per week. Man, that's pretty much what I gotta say. This. Leave your ideas, thoughts, whatnot at the bottom in the in my comments section down below. Give me ideas or your predictions for next week's chapter. It may be pretty good, in the middle, obviously. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say for now. Until next time, guys. See you later.